Hey guys, it's Izzy here, and today I am going to be doing my biggest book haul in 2020. I'm going to be showing y'all all the books that I bought in May. I bought quite a few. There's no excuse for it. I shouldn't have bought this many books, but I did. But I have been reading more than I have any other month, so that kind of fuels it. Because when I first started out on BookTube, I would finish a book, donate that book, then buy a book. It was kind of, I haven't donated my books yet because I said, I think in a vlog, that my public library has had the little drop box closed, so I haven't been able to donate books there. I have given books to Goodwill, but I just prefer them to go to the library, so I haven't been able to do that. So hopefully when all this is over, they will unlock the box. So let's get into this video. Roses, their debut album, I think it's one of the best-selling albums of all time. So the first book that I am showing y'all today is one of the longest time books on my to buy list on Goodreads. I've talked all about that before, of how I buy books on Goodreads. I'll leave a link. I don't buy them on Goodreads, but I'll leave a link down below to that video down in the pinned comment so y'all can check it out. So this is The Night Manager by John Le Carre. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing anything right. So like 2 years ago, somebody recommended me this book. She hadn't even read the whole book and still hasn't. But I think Tom Hiddleston is his name, Loki, was on this mini-series or something, and the girl is a big fan of him. I'm personally not. I don't think he's attractive at all. I was like, okay, maybe I'll read the book. Basically, I think this guy is a spy or something, and the back of the book is completely different from what Goodreads said, so I hope it's right what I'm saying. So we just follow his missions through Quebec, and I think it said the Bahamas, maybe, with the Cold War over a new era of espionage has begun. And the guy is a former British soldier, so he's currently a night manager of a posh hotel in Zurich, Switzerland. I feel like nothing good happens there. I'm Swiss descent, so just so y'all know, but I feel like a lot of sketchy stuff happens there. Our next book is the winner of the Pulitzer Prize, and that is The Overstory, a novel by Richard Powers. So this book is really to bring a lot of activism and like just showing, I can't think of the word, just how we should take care of the earth and just how old these trees are. This takes us through the antebellum era and then into the 20th century. There were timber wars. What I'm thinking in my head what that is, because I don't know what that is. I won't know until I read this book and my cat's getting in my lap. But I'm thinking maybe people wanted to cut down trees, but other people didn't want them to do that because they want to preserve the environment. But the trees have literally been around for thousands of years. So just think of some of these trees. There's the angel oak down in the low country of South Carolina. I have never been there, but I think it is one of the oldest trees. If maybe the oldest tree east of the Mississippi, could be wrong, but just think of all these things these trees have seen, the stories, and I think this is just kind of things have happened trying to save trees, but this is fiction, so I don't know. So, and I should add, the two books that I picked from my T-bar this month were The Night Manager and then the next book, and then I just went on the website and got two other books that were already on my list, and this was one of them. And I did that in a reading vlog, so I will leave a link to that down below in the comments as well, and I may have an icon up there sometime in this video, but I don't know. So our next book is a very popular book and a popular television series on Starz. It is on Netflix and Amazon if you want to watch it there. So I've seen like the maybe first 3 or 4 episodes, but I don't know now if I'm going to continue or if I'm going to pick up the book instead. With Game of Thrones, I had watched the majority of the show before picking up the books. I picked up the first book around the time I first started watching the show, and I feel like I enjoyed it a lot more annotating wise and all by doing that. So maybe with Outlander I will continue the show and just pick up the book when I pick up the book. But it's Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I don't know. But this book takes place in Scotland. So we have our two characters. I cannot remember the names. Claire, and I think Frank is her husband. So this is in the 1940s. She has been a nurse over on the mainland of Europe, and then there's really loud, it sounds like military helicopters or the Osprey flying over, but okay. He was in the military overseas, or not over. Okay, that was a huge army helicopter that just flew over, so, and I had to see it, but I didn't get a picture of it because it was going too fast. But okay, so her husband has been across the channel fighting in the war as well, so they're finally getting to go on their honeymoon, and they go to the Highlands of Scotland because he's doing basically ancestry DNA work like 60 years before ancestry DNA is a thing, because I've definitely done that, going to graveyards, ancestors are buried and all that. I talked about having Swiss descent. I haven't been to any of those graveyards for that side yet. That's why they go up there. And the Druids have a ritual thing at this stone circle. Stone circles are very common throughout Europe and throughout the world. Aliens. So the Druids, and they go to watch. Now Claire goes in the middle of these stones after, like, I don't know what Frank's doing, but she goes by herself and ends up going back in time to the 1700s. And it says she's trying to get back to the 1940s, and she's English in Scotland at that time, so not that popular. Our next book is a non-fiction. It is a memoir, and it's called Educated by Tara Westover. So this is a New York Times book review, 10 Best Books of 2018, and so obviously a number one New York Times bestseller. So our Tara Westover grew up with survivalists in the mountains of Idaho and had never stepped foot in a classroom until she was 17 years old. At that point, I feel like the majority of us had been in classrooms for probably a good like 15 years. So just imagine that. And this is all about her learning and everything about what the world outside of kind of the cult that she was in, and just coming to terms with that, and just about her education. And I think of how important education is, so I cannot wait to get to this. This is one of the books that has been on my to-buy list for so long, so I'm happy to finally have it. Our next book I got in Book of the Month. I didn't think any of the Book of the Month choices this month were great, but I can't press the skip button. I can't do it. The one I chose was Happy and You Know It by Laura Halkin. So I got this because it is set, I think, on the Upper East Side. It's set in New York City among the elite. So our main character, what was her name? Once again, Claire, is a musician, and she's doing a job being like a party musician for little kids of the elite of New York City. So she then realizes throughout this job how much drama those women have in the upper society of New York, and it's just following that, and it's supposed to be a page turner and all that. I really like the cover. I love the little pins on it, and then the marble background. The back has pins as well, so this was my May choice. Our next book was my add-on to my Book of the Month, and that is The Paris Hours by Alex George. Look how short this historical fiction is. Literally, that is a beautiful sight, because the historical fictions I've been reading lately have been so long, pushing 350 pages to 400 pages, which I know there are some, like Outlander, that are a lot longer. So this is set between the wars in Paris, France, so between World War I and World War II. It takes place in 1927, which is the book I just finished, The Wicked City by Beatrice Williams. It takes place in like the same time period, but in New York City. So I don't know much about what was happening in the 20s in other countries. I mainly just know about America, and it's usually the opposite for me. So we're following 4 different people in this story, all who are trying to find something that they have lost. We have one girl who's been asked to do something suspicious by her boss. We have an Armenian, I think it was Armenian, yeah, an Armenian refugee. And then we have one who is in debt. We have Gertrude Stein, who's wondering if this day will be any different than any other day. So we're following those 4 people, and at this time Paris was really a creative hub. Just love how this camera cuts off after filming 9 minutes or however long. But I read the first one of this in one night. It is long and it was tiring reading, but once I start something I have to read the rest. So we have that one. And our next book, I don't even know if I should have to explain it, but it is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, and this is the 10th anniversary edition, which has 10,000 words of bonus content. When books have that, I never read it, but this was just the paperback version that they had on Amazon. I had no idea it was some special edition, but this book kind of feels weird to me. I don't know what it is. Like, at first I thought it had water damage, but I think it's just really floppy. I don't know if y'all can tell, but this is kind of like an Atlantis story. But I had Mistborn first, and then I saw that you read Elantris first. Brandon Sanderson's universe confuses me so much. I just wish there's so many lists of ways you can read his books. I wish there was this one list, dude. It's so confusing. So hopefully this is where I'm supposed to start. So our next book is probably the most popular book on BookTube this month, and that is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and this is a prequel to The Hunger Games. I got the YA Book Club exclusive edition from Barnes & Noble, and that, I don't know if they all came with a sticker, but this was just the version I got. It comes with a nice sticker. The Hunger Games were my favorite books in like 6th grade in middle school, so I know, awkward time, but I can't wait to read this. It is the backstory of President Snow. I know a lot of people aren't really excited about that they want it to be about Mags, but it's a Hunger Games book. I don't care who it's about, so I am excited for that. So the last book I got in this haul, I got, I think, 2 days ago in Amazon. Big nice hardback I literally got for $10. So this is The Churchills in Love and War by Mary S. Lovell. This is a book all about the Churchills, who are a prominent British family. Winston Churchill, you've probably all heard of. He was Prime Minister during World War II. So this is all about their family, nonfiction, all of that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And on Thursday, I am going to be doing another haul video, but not a book haul, so be sure to tune in for that. Bye, guys!